Thank you.
And sent.
But then it won't work right.
Please leave your message for...
So we had a meeting today for the new video stuff.
Did that come through too?
Get it?
What?
You get it?
I'm trying to get joined. Do a restart here.
Yeah,
Hey, Brennan, you haven't started yet.
okay.
Just sent you a request to join. I'll email it, says.
Yeah, but I'm not unmuting my mics because
Okay. You're not loaded out,
no, you share them, right?
Gotcha.
Now we keep track of so much. It's all you.
Okay. We'll call the meeting to order. Tiffany, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Darby,
Present.
Councilwoman Orville,
Present.
Councilman Brennan, Councilman Harjo.
Present.
Mayor Sexton.
President, let the record reflect that we do have a quorum for Tuesday, September 20th. No, October 14th, 2025.
What agenda do you have?
That's a very good question. I got Tuesday, September 23rd.
We did clear everything up. You guys all have that same thing?
No.
We just have the regular.
All right, let the record reflect we do have a quorum for Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. Sorry. We're going to run down to public hearing. Number one, proposed exchange of city-owned real property that is described in the notice for real property currently owned by CC Idaho LLC to be acquired by Ag Equity Holding LLC. Anybody like to come for or against? All right, public hearing closed. We're going to run down to recognizing persons in the audience. Would anybody like to get up and speak for 3 minutes? Becker.
Wouldn't be a start a council meeting without it, right?
Amen, brother.
Mr. Mayor, City Council members, my name is Decker Sanders. I reside at 1690 Fairway in Mountain Home. First, my thanks to Councilman Harjo and City Attorney Schroeder for their efforts to bring a possible solution to the introduction of a TVNR program into the animal control efforts in Mountain Home. The shell presented demonstrated the complexities and interrelationships of statutory authority concerning animal control, especially as it relates to citizens and citizen groups. It was gratifying to learn that the logic behind the limits on animal ownership are not arbitrary and capricious, but rather by design. The council has received substantial evidence showing TVNR programs reduce colony populations. TVNR programs are in place in multiple cities across Idaho and the country, and TVNR programs are the support of multiple groups, including the Idaho Humane Society. The cost for operating a TNVR program per cat is substantial. The group presenting before the council is currently bearing all these costs, yet the shell contemplates imposing an additional fee of $2. At your last council meeting, you approved service contracts with several local entities, each of which provides services for which the city has a compelling interest, as that is the legal basis for such service contracts. There is no doubt that the city has multiple compelling interests in animal control. Is it not more efficient, effective, dare I say elegant, to bring a TVNR program into the city by way of a service contract? A well-written service contract provides limits on eligibility, fiscal accountability, clear definition of and the process for the service to be provided, a process for reimbursement, records keeping, and audit requirements. By example, a reimbursement of $2 per cat is substantially less than the cost to be expected to perform the same services incurred under the current animal control, even if only measured in terms of staff hours, and is a force multiplier to current city animal control efforts. One town, one team. Isn't it time to add some new players to the roster as it applies to the city's animal control efforts?
Thanks, Becker. Anybody else? Okay. Run down to conflict of interest declaration. Has any person?
Oh, yeah, you got somebody else.
Oh, come on down. Sorry.
I'll try to make this as short as I can. I actually sent this to city council members. I don't know if the mayor got it or not.
Will you state your name, please?
I'm sorry, Catherine Dodge.
Okay.
I'm here in regards to the issues with the TNR program in Mountain Home. I've recently been made aware that the Lost Cause TNR group has been and continues to use a woman in Grandview, Idaho, to perform spays and neuters on feral cats that they have trapped in the city as well as county. This woman is not a licensed vet and such, making it very illegal. When I asked them on a post made in a local Facebook group, they refused to name the licensed vet they claim they are using, instead giving answers they don't have to account to me. The vet wants to stay anonymous, and then eventually saying they use the same as Positivity Sniff used previously, in which quickly I confirmed who this woman was and checked with the Idaho State Board of Veterinary Medicine. She holds no license in the state of Idaho for veterinary medicine. This makes me very concerned as these animals deserve better. By not using a licensed vet, they are putting animals at a higher risk of infection, disfigurement, and possible death. A veterinarian has to follow laws and rules and regulations of the state. This includes legal record keeping, sanitation, surgical procedures, just to name a few. The records kept are available for audits to confirm that all regulations and laws are being honored. When a non-licensed person provides veterinarian services, we do not have these records. There is no accountability. These laws are put in place for a reason. In 50 states, this is a law that is in effect. Here are some examples of non-licensed persons performing veterinary medicine. Pima County, Arizona versus Mankato Bubba something recall. A medical doctor was arrested and charged after performing unlicensed and illegal surgeries, including C-sections on dogs. She was a medical doctor. Manchester, Connecticut, 2024. A woman was charged for performing an unlicensed C-section on an English bulldog. The dog was brought into the ER vet in critical condition with severe infections, having her uterus improperly closed with a thread. Florida, 2023. A licensed pet groomer posed as a veterinarian, converting an ambulance into a clinic, performing surgery on a chihuahua who later died due to unsterile and improper performed surgeries. Wisconsin, 2025. Dr. Richard Van Dommelen was arrested after investigations found he directed unlicensed staff to perform painful surgeries on animals in his care. Our community and the TNR groups must do better than these examples and keep our city from becoming one of these examples. We must adhere to the laws and the regulations and provide the safest care possible. In adding to the accountability of these groups, I ask you to consider how will the city stop or deter them from trapping a cat in the city by bypassing the city laws by saying it was a county cat. I believe the city and county commissioners should work together to bring the same or similar ordinances and regulations, as well as possibly having the group contact animal control with numbered traps, locations, and times traps will be out. In such, the animal control police can randomly check confirming where these traps are being placed. I'm going to skip that, sorry.
So Kathy, we have a 3-minute time limit.
Can I pass?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So can I ask you to do me a favor?
Yes.
So I did get your email,
Mhm.
and I don't know if the council got it. I'm not going to speak for them. Can you send me what you have on your phone and email it to me?
No, it's the exact same
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm just asking that these laws be followed, that these animals be taken care of by a veterinarian, and that when you guys do consider applications, you do consider the history of these groups and following laws.
Right. Okay. Well, I appreciate you, and like I said, we'll take that and we'll get with that, Mr. Schroeder and Scott. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan.
can I say on that I do not recall receiving an email from Miss Dodds. If I can get that forwarded to me at some point.
Yes, sir.
And I also just wanted to say that I appreciate her comments for saying basically what we've all known, but everyone's afraid to talk about.
You're here. Okay. Okay.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
it went to city council, but I can forward it to you specifically.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Anybody else? 3 minutes? Come on. You got 3 minutes, Don. Fire away.
Yeah, I wanna know what you guys plan out there at the municipal plan, treatment plant. I wanna see some paperwork, some plans, some drawings or something. And I'd like to know what the extension is on the airport project. What else going on there? And the railroad part. And where's Blue Yonder at? Up by the airport or where? Not much there on it. So I want to talk about some of this stuff so I can have something to talk about. Just writing that down.
Thanks, Don. Anybody else? Okay.
Just open.
3 minute open. Come on down.
Okay, great. My name's Cleve Warner. I live at 400 North 19th East. I've had trouble for 10 years with the travel trailer park that is directly across the fence from me. Problem is Google Now I'm understanding, and it's always been that way, but the trailer park has instituted directions for people to come in through that dead-end street, which is gravel, which, by the way, I've tried to have the city pave it for 10 years, pay the same taxes as everyone else. Anyway, I have people parking in the street, blocking the driveway, blocking the middle of the road. I've talked to the police department about it, but yet I know they can't have a patrolman there the whole time. What about citizens on patrol issuing parking tickets? You guys have put up a dead-end street sign at the entrance of my street, and they have the trailer park gated off. And yet they still open the gate and they swing it open, it blocks my driveway. I fought this for 10 years. I've actually been arrested by the police department because of false accusations about the kid in the trailer park saying I looked like this other guy that closed the gate to when they put a no trespass order on me so that I couldn't enter that trailer park. I've gone through everything I can. I even talked to the police. I says, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? Start knocking glass out of all these vehicles? I'm not getting anywhere. I've been down here. The mayor tells me, well, what? I can't appease everybody. I'm not looking for appeasement. I'm looking for justice. When I have policemen come to my house and tell me they can't do anything about it because I hesitated to call, and then I tell them to get the hell out of here, I says, don't worry about it. I have guns. I can protect myself. And that was over an issue from the kid in the trailer park starting to kill me. So what happens? The next day, the police department retaliates. These same two kids that came the night before, they came and arrested me. Told me, don't worry about it. We have doctors at the jail. There was lie number one. I needed to wear a heart monitor for 6 months. The city's all aware of this. You guys are all aware of this problem. It's gone on. 10 years is long enough. Gate off that street to where they have to go out up to 18th instead of on 19th.
Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
All right, Clete. I'm going to get with the police department tomorrow on this, okay?
Is there a new owner that owns that trailer park now?
No clue, sir.
And as well as I'm not sure that they're carrying the proper use permits.
So can you give Tiff your number and I'll give you a call tomorrow?
Sure.
Thank you.
Write your phone number right.
I've had that trailer park that made 40 and no one in the police department did anything about it. I guess I was supposed to sign in here.
No. No, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Anybody else? Don, you already had your 3 minutes, my friend.
Can't do it again?
No, sir.
Hey, just don't put some bollards in there and they'll take care of it.
Okay.
Bollards in the middle of the road.
We're going to run down to
That's very simple.
conflict of interest declaration. Has any council member received information pertaining to or otherwise any contact with any person regarding the items on the city council agenda? If so, please set forth nature of contact.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Workla?
received an email from Rod Dudley regarding new business number 2 and number 3, and Nicholas Gage, and I received an email from him as well regarding the consent agenda number 5, and there's no conflict of interest.
Copy that.
Mayor.
Councilwoman,
Brennan, go.
Councilman Brennan?
Same thing as Councilwoman Workla said, from Rod Dudley and Nicholas Kitchen.
No conflict?
No conflict.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Mayor, ditto.
Ditto? No conflict?
No conflict.
Councilman Harjo?
Same.
Okay, no conflict?
No comment.
Okay. Let's run down to the consent agenda. Council, is there something on the consent agenda you want to pull? More clarification?
Mayor.
Councilwoman Workla?
So I want to pull number 5 and number 11. And then I need clarification on number 3 for the payroll.
You said 11?
Yeah.
I only have 10. Oh. I only got 10.
Someone's trying to sabotage you.
Yeah.
What agenda are you looking
I
at?
know.
There's 11 items.
All right, I'm going to put 11.
He needs a good agenda.
All right.
I don't need this so much, you guys. I got 3 mics, one for Schroeder, one for me.
Do you need this?
I got my own. I
Okay.
always have a backup for you.
All right.
Okay. And then I need clarification on number 3 for the payroll. So I sent an email out to the city on Sunday. I understand yesterday was a holiday, but and again, poor Tiffany here. She responded like 2 minutes right before the meeting. My question on the payroll is there's 3 times that
It's not payroll, it's expenditure. It's 2.
expenditure.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to clarify.
No, thank you. So 3 times there are entries. Let me grab my email. I sent. Okay, so 26-435-56-00. There's multiple lunch inquiries for an individual on here. My guess is they're divided up into thirds between departments because this individual isn't specifically working underneath one department. However, when you add up, let's say one was $20.48 3 times, that's a $60+ meal. So and there's multiple of these on here. I think there's at least 4. The other one is 25-434-56-00 and then 01-416-56-00. Again, lunch while at meeting, lunch while at conference, lunch with another individual. So again, when you add that up 3 times, that's pretty expensive lunches. And so I was trying to get this clarified before this meeting, but I know you guys were gone yesterday and busy today. So can you please clarify before I vote on this consent agenda?
Councilwoman Workla, I did respond just really briefly before the meeting.
Yeah.
So the individual staff member that has conducted these purchases, he's allocated out of those 3 funds you referenced. So his expenditures are shared the exact same way. So you kind of answered the own question
So is it?
regarding how, like, is it a duplicate entry?
Yeah, or a triple entry.
No, they're not duplicate. So the entries are shared equally.
So why does it need to be on there 3 separate times under 3 different entities, 3 different departments?
Because that's how his expenditures are allocated that way in the budget. So every time he makes a purchase, they're shared allocations on how they're expended out.
But then the total number for that department has an amount set to it each time. So wouldn't that affect it? Wouldn't that affect it each time? The total amount?
Yep.
So are you telling me that there's just for example, let's look at, let's see, one that's titled September 2025 D, sorry, for $20.49. So it's in the bill run 3 times, but you're saying that it's only reflecting for one payment of $20.
No, so the one you're referring to, is that under meeting schools and dues, the
Mhm.
25,
Mhm.
September 25D mileage conference in Boise
Uh,
for $20.49?
let's do 2025C. I'm sorry, I need new glasses. 2025C, $20.49. So lunch while at conference. It's underneath, I believe, developmental services, water department, and then wastewater department, I believe. So it's 3 different times in the bill run.
That 2049
But
specifically?
yeah, that's just one of multiple.
Yeah, I would say looking at this at first glance, like, right, the conference in Boise makes sense at the $60 charge. Because more than likely we paid for him to attend a conference at $60 is relatively makes sense. The lunch at $60 divided equally, that's high, and that isn't, I would say that's not accurate.
Okay, because then there's another one. Look at August 2025B. That's for $16.67. That's in there 3 times as well. So are you in my email?
Yeah.
Okay, because I just screenshot them from 3 different
That's
departments. Yeah.
16. So when you see that, like, just for clarity, the very first one that says parking, well, where's one that's in duplicate? There, each transaction would total the value of the cost associated to it, right? It's just distributed out, but I would say some of these are not keyed properly at first glance. So
Right, yeah, because when
They
you have a,
would be
that's my point. So when you have a lunch for
It wouldn't be $60. Yeah, I think
Right.
they got keyed wrong then.
yeah,
Did they-
they're the
so-
exact same transaction, one above the other.
So I have 4. So the ones that I found that have triple entries, it's August 2025D, September 2025B, September 2025D, September 2025E. Those are the triple entries. And so that's why I wanted a clarification before we approve the consent agenda that this falls under. So
And you could pull those. These are on. It looks like it's the Wells Fargo. Besides the mileage. So you can exclude those, and I can get you an answer. And tomorrow, if you'd like, I would have to pull the Wells Fargo statements. That's what it looks like to me.
okay.
Yeah,
And I did not do that today.
No, I know you guys are busy. So. I will exclude those then.
Okay.
Mayor?
If you,
Oh.
like these screenshots specifically, that's fine. I'll get you an answer.
Councilwoman Garvey?
I thought we set, a while ago, didn't we set a lunch reimbursement amount?
It was,
I mean, seriously, $60 for lunch that's
Yeah, no,
I mean, that's like filet mignon.
right, I think she's right. I think those had been coded wrong.
I don't think
Should have
that's
been
accurate.
$20 divided by 3, not, yeah, that's right. That's like,
Times 3.
yeah.
And I guess, in full transparency for the council to realize that we just hit the end of a budget year, so a lot of these transactions are trying to absorb in September, where a lot of departments were trying to make their final purchases, so, and then they're trying to differentiate charges after October 1st into the next budget, so bear with staff, trying to give them a little bit of grace in this probably spreadsheet mess up as they were keying, so.
So I have one other question, and I'm, again, advent calendar, I'm on the countdown. Going forward, so, and I don't know, I don't think I've ever, in my 4 years, have had this where there's been a duplicate entry. So this is and we don't know exactly what the issue is, right? From what I just heard Tiffany say, it's a key error.
And I don't know that.
I understand. That's what you said. I'm not holding you to that. So at the end of the day, this is a possible error, keying in error. What will take place, or what does take place to correct this? Because this came to us in a council packet, which is going to likely move forward and be approved and move on. So where's the double check, I guess, that these entries were put in there correctly?
The double check by,
Okay, so obviously a staff member put in $20 times 3. And that was incorrect. So said staff member, maybe they were off that day, maybe they just had a bad day, maybe they were tired, whatever the case may be, it doesn't really matter. Where is the double check? Or, I mean, obviously Jenny caught it, excuse me, Councilwoman Workla caught it. So what measures are in place? Because this is a small amount, $60, but what if the next time it's larger? I guess there maybe needs to be an implementation put in place that this doesn't happen.
yeah, Mayor.
Council, oh, go ahead, Jeff.
And we review the bills, like, we're going through them and checking, but like I just said, and no disrespect, it's somewhat of your guys' responsibility to verify the bills and to make sure that we are doing our job in fact as the triple check factor, right? And so, yeah, maybe we haven't had an error in the future, but we did potentially, this time, I don't know that for a fact. I don't know the answer until I go look at the statements
And it could have been a
myself.
$60 lunch.
It could have been, and depending where they ate, I don't know.
I'm just asking the question.
Right, no, I get it.
There needs to be also a check and balance in place too. So it's just been a discussion we've had in the past, so.
Okay. Okay. And then, anything else on this? So I pulled 11, 5, discussion on 1 and 2.
We need to amend the agenda to add items removed under new business,
Oh,
please.
yeah. Well, I just wrote number 1, I was gonna do 2, 3. So council, can I amend the agenda really quick to add items removed from, into new business?
Yes,
We have a motion and a second.
Mayor,
Councilman Harjo?
make a motion to add items pulled from the consent agenda to new business.
We have a second.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Right?
Okay. Okay. Council, I'm gonna assume pulling those financials right there, approving the rest of them, and then pulling 5 and 11. Any other questions on any of the consent agenda?
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
just a real brief discussion on number 6 as a follow-up to a conversation that I'll share with the council. The documentation for the railroad extension and 5 submittals on that. I was kind of confused by the language on how that was worded within our documentation. After speaking with Tiffany, it's more like just resumes submitted. There's no financial cost associated with it, and the well-qualified team, I suppose, to make an ultimate determination was called together. And so, if I'm understanding that right, there's no financial obligation today, but after they do their work or show us what kind of work is needed, then they will have a financial impact that will come back to the council for a vote. Did I get that right, Tiffany?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all.
Thanks, Councilman. All right, anything else, council? If not, is there a motion to approve the agenda with the expenditures that Councilwoman Workla brought up, and then pulling 5 and 11?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, removing items 5 and 11, adding them to new business, and I'm not exactly.
Expenditures.
Yeah, I'm not sure how
I'll
to,
give you the fund number, ready?
yeah, go ahead.
01-416-5600 and 25434-5600. Those for both community schools and.
There's three.
Was there not?
There's three.
Council,
And then, Mayor,
go ahead, Councilman.
tell me if you got this one, sorry. 26-435-5600.
Okay. I don't know how to put this, I
Pulling,
guess.
pulling those.
Pulling those, pulling items 416-5600, item out of 254-345-5600, and item 264-435-600 out of the meeting schools and dues for further clarification of payment.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. I'll call for the question. Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Okay. We're going to run down to old business, non-action item, discussion of the draft of the land lease agreement. Erica, you want to come on down?
Mayor,
Go ahead.
Erica's welcome to sit down and Thomas too. However, this is mostly your guys's. They haven't seen this draft.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, sit down anyways.
Yeah.
Tell them how we doing.
I have some really specific questions on like how long are the terms of it and some things like that to then get it back to these guys and DEQ for their funding.
So really quick, council, I'm going to suspend Robert's rules so you guys can have a pretty frank conversation about the land lease agreement for this action item really quick, just so we can get a kind of knowing what your thoughts are moving forward with this land lease agreement with the Mellon Water District. So I'll suspend the Robert's Rules of Order for this old business number 1. So if you guys want to fire away, and then Tiff, the floor is yours. Or,
No, I've highlighted the stuff I have and
okay.
will entertain any comments you guys have.
Councilman, Councilman. Mr. Schroeder, do you have anything?
No, not yet.
Okay, council, what do you have on this land lease agreement?
Tiff, Erica, do you have any idea the DEQ side of things, the duration of what the loan looks like at this juncture?
No, at this point, there is no loan. This is for us to be able to finish our facility plan.
Okay.
To be able to turn it in with a letter of interest.
Understood.
Did DEQ ask how long that land lease has to be?
No, they did not. That was not
Wow.
listed on there. I know that, just from talking to them, they wanted to know that because they don't, just speaking really frankly, they're like, we don't want to give it to you and in 4 years they remove the lease and you haven't even paid for this, right? So they want to make sure it's long-term more than anything.
Okay.
Chris and I guess staff, in our experience in DEQ loan duration, has that typically fallen in the 20-year mark? Or are there varying terms that we've experienced over time?
Terms vary on the dollar amount.
Mhm.
Type of project. We can't pin one down.
Sure.
So there you go. Come on down. You're the subject matter expert. Come tell us.
It's 20 years is standard. They do allow up to 30 years if there's like a financial need. So they would probably want to see at least 20 or 30. Those things when you're putting on permanent infrastructure, you want to see more like 30 or 50.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Councilwoman, oh, no, this is open. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I see 10 years on here. Did we just come up with 10 years just arbitrarily, just because, just?
I just put 10 because we haven't been renewing anything past 5 years.
Okay.
Legal doesn't like after 10. So,
Okay.
yeah, arbitrary.
Say that.
Well, I didn't ask you, I asked Paul.
Oh, okay.
You're the fill-in.
Paul's in Boston.
Well,
So, but for
substitute.
things like this, you can do longer than 10 years.
I know you can. Whatever.
Well, I asked the question because these guys, I mean, Yeah, I mean, we don't have any use for this little piece of land that they've been good stewards of. Let's give them the lease agreement so that they can get everything rounded up and finalized, and that they can rest easy and get their water taken care of. I mean, anybody else in agreement? Let's give them a little bit longer lease so that we're not having to come back and deal with this.
Very much so.
Especially if it's a DEQ requirement that they like it to be a little bit longer lease. So that you guys don't have to come back to us
Yeah.
in a couple weeks and redo this.
James, really quick, recommendation, 20, 30 year, what?
I would probably go at least 20.
Can I jump in?
Go ahead, Councilman, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, it's hard to tell order over there. I don't know. I don't object to the longer term. I would like to throw out the possibility of like the annual. We started. I think it says $500. We start there and adjust with the consumer price index, like we do with a lot of our other like contracts that we have, so that in 29 years from now we're still not also receiving just $500 when the value of that money will be way different. I'd also like to talk about paragraph 9. And granted, I'm on the phone. Do I hear right that Paul is not with us today?
Yeah, you have Schroeder.
Yeah, you got me.
I heard Tiffany say the fill-in, so.
My name's not Phil.
I may be wrong on the term, but I think Paul uses the term extraterritorial customer. With that, I believe the rate should be like 1.5 times if we have to connect under emergency purposes in the future. That they'd say 1.5 times the rate of which the city resident pays, and I'm pretty confident that that is a normal procedure for that kind of a customer. That's my comment.
And I was going to ask the same thing, piggybacking off of Councilman Brennan. I didn't quite finish. I was going on the 10-year lease, and then my next was the rent. Where did we come up with 500? Was it just kind of we just put it in there?
They pay that currently. They
Okay.
paid that for their last 30-year lease.
And I am also in agreement of the, I was going to say extraterrestrial, but extraterritorial customer. That they, I mean, you guys, and I know that you both can understand that to have to pay more, a little bit more, if something goes south, because it's an impact to us, it's an impact to our city. So I'm in agreement with that they pay a little bit more. Is that enforceable, Schroeder?
Yes, I'm
Counsel,
currently looking at
excuse
your
me?
code to see if it's absolutely embraced, but it's certainly not beyond your power to do.
Okay,
So,
okay. And then,
Also, do the experts in the room, maybe Chris or the folks from Keller that I think are in there, do they know what the most accurate CPI category would be?
No. I mean, if it were a capital cost, it'd use a different index.
Right.
I think the one you mentioned is probably in for inflation.
I can't hear what he's saying.
I said, if it were capital costs, I'd use the ENR index for inflation, but for this, the consumer price index is probably as good as any.
Did you get that?
We heard the first half. Can you just repeat what the more likely route is that he said last?
The CIP.
CPI.
consumer price index.
Okay. Is there a category though within the CPI?
Let me ask ChatGPT.
Typically not when we do all the other land ones, Councilman Brennan. But the individual who fills your seat here in January better not be a critic of CPI index, like you are,
I am, but
when these come
what-
before them.
I don't typically like them, but what other method do we have to have like some kind of a fair annual price increase.
Hey, James, is there, or Jordan, is there a different, fair, equitable way to do a price increase of that, or no?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at most leases, they'll do like a market adjustment. Like I look at our own lease,
Yeah.
it's you might do a 20-year term, but you might say after 3 years or 5 years or every 5
Yes.
years you're gonna do reassess and do like a market rate adjustment, and it's gonna be just whatever the market is.
So he's saying a market rate adjustment every 3 to 5 years instead of the CPI?
Then it just comes back to council to reattack the price for that for the next 3 or 5 years.
I'm going to assume so.
Yeah.
Locking in the duration, but readdressing the value every 5-year cycle.
Yeah.
I don't know, I wouldn't sign a lease like that, but
You know, we're increasing our rates about 5% per year to our citizens. What about just a 5% per year increase on that contract?
Mayor.
Council, oh, this is open.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm for that.
That actually raises a question. Do you guys know if you have to fall within, and Jeff, you might know the answer to this, being that you act as a utility in that sense, that if you would have to hold a public hearing amongst your customer base based on rate increases?
Yeah, whenever it changes,
That-
you'll have to, because the cost is only gonna flow to the users.
hmm So perhaps a 4.9%?
It's in excess, so you're leasing land to them, how that's split out into their costs to their users is, I don't know. But 5% doesn't require a public hearing, it's in excess of 5%.
Excess of. Understood.
In excess of 5, so 5.00 is 5.
Understood. Thank you.
5.00001, and so on.
So what you're saying 3.5?
And I'm throwing out.
The answer is no unless you ask, right? So ask away.
Do I understand right that it's been $500 per year for the last 30 years?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think 5% per year moving forward is too much to ask for.
Agreed.
Okay. And then what's the term you guys want to do?
30.
30? What do you want to do? Count?
I'm okay with 30. It sets them up to be able to move forward.
Council. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, what's the Keller's representative's name again?
James and
James,
Jordan.
what did you say? What was your recommendation?
30 years is what I would ask if I were them, because it's very likely that DEQ is going to give them a 20 or 30-year loan, and if they're really worried about costs, they'll err on the side of 30, and they're going to want the assurance that they're not paying on a loan on the property that they no longer have a lease to. So
Yeah. Okay, I'm good with 30.
I'm good.
Councilman Brennan, I'm trying to think. Councilman, sorry, are you okay with 30 years?
I am. That's fine. As long as we got that 5% per year, I'll be okay with it.
I'm okay with 5.
I'm okay with 5.
Okay.
19. Look at paragraph 19. First word. First word.
Also, before wrapping that up, can we just make sure we get another set of eyes on the spelling and
Yeah.
all the different language within that agreement? It needs another set of eyes for sure.
Oh,
It's
okay.
rough.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
Okay.
says non-action.
That's what Brennan, I was just pointing some things out. Yes.
Bear with the girl.
Okay. Yes.
Hey, speaking of that, since you're calling people out, Councilman Brennan, number 7, installation of water meter device. We need to discuss that. Because right now, when the district consumes city water, we don't know the gallonages that they're truly consuming. And so I need to know if we're gonna require them at the turn-on switch to install the said device meter, and is it at their expense or at our expense? Cause it's gonna be a little pricey.
At their expense.
Yeah, how much is it?
So a meter like that's gonna cost a couple grand.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought Dave said at least 3,500.
And that will ensure us to know exactly how much they're using a month?
Yep.
Correct.
Sorry, guys.
How about we pay for it, but you don't increase that 5% for 5 years?
How about you install a water meter device?
We could do that if that's what we need. We can add it to our budget.
You'll just install it.
Well, I think
You'll purchase it
you
and
would
install it.
We would have to.
No, we would have to install it.
I mean,
They'll purchase it, we'd have to install it.
I think they should purchase it, we install it, and keep the 5% increase for 30 years.
All right, council good with that one?
Yep.
Okay,
there was another
Every
thing
year
in
for
there
30 years.
going off of that. They asked to make sure that, the agreement says that if our well goes down, the city will continue to provide emergency water. I know that's listed.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
that
that's
number
in
9.
Yeah,
and
it says
it's
that.
an emergency.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, I said 5% increase, 30 years. 5% increase every year for 30 years.
okay. All right, we'll draft something up, bring it back to council.
I'll get it cleaned up into you guys,
Okay.
and then you guys can review.
Real quick, what was the council outcome on the argument about installing and purchasing?
The Mellon Water District is going to purchase the meter, and the city will install the meter.
And what would be the labor cost to install a meter on someone else's new pump and well system?
No,
What
it's,
we cost?
the meter is on city service line that, it's at the turn-on switch where we give them water today at.
Okay, so there would be no fear of us damaging their equipment or anything like that?
No, it's on city property.
No, this would be at the branch that they're feeding off of now in the instance that something happens with the well in the future and the city has to provide municipal water.
Okay, what would be the estimated labor cost for us to install that?
We don't know that right now. We'll work those numbers and get them to you guys when this is ready for approval.
It won't be much. I mean, if you're talking 2 technicians, a couple hours each, labor, it's not a big deal. It's set up for it, it just doesn't have it. So pull the old device out, put the meter device in, it's minimal.
And it is congruent with other instances that we've recently had to deal with of how to bill extraterritorial.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll bring that back to, all cleaned up.
Yeah.
Okay, council good with that?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Come back to, put Robert's rules, and we'll go down, back in order, and we'll go down to new business number 1. We pulled number 5. Councilwoman Workla.
Yeah, thank you. So is there, Mayor, is there any representative from the URA here today?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay. So I went back, they presented their presentation to us April 9th of 2024. So I went back to that recording. I just want to make some comments that I jotted down from that meeting to help with my decision for today on this. So if I could have other council members just please pull up the budget, the Mountain Home Railroad Park GMP 1 budget, because I'm going to bring that up as well. So, all right, so future cash projections were stated by the URA treasurer, I believe. So $634,000 is budget annually on a tax increment revenue. This is the number they get from the county assessor. Portion of the tax revenues that are diverted to the URA per Title 50, Chapter 29. So there's a $634,000 revenue stream that is from Marathon Cheese. The admin cost annually is $95,000. Net that out, and each year there is a positive cash flow of $538,000. The URA district by law must disband by 2031. So it was quoted that there's 6 years of revenue, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So there's 3 stipulations. If the URA doesn't commit to any other projects. Number 2, if the Marathon Cheese stays in Mountain Home. Number 3, if Marathon Cheese pays their taxes. The URA will generate another $3.2 million of cash in the bank. So to sum it up, the end of the life of the URA, there will be about $5.4 million in the bank. And then I'm going to quote the URA treasurer as well. If the life of the URA and we take on no other projects, we can fund that project in its entirety. Okay, so with that being said, when you pull up this budget here, there is quite a few lines that say City of Mountain Home is going to cover cost. In addition to, there's no cost that's associated to what they will contribute to. I imagine this is in-kind work, but again, it's on here numerous times. So I just want clarification on who's paying for what, I guess.
Mayor.
Go ahead, Councilman Harjo.
Councilwoman Workla, I was able to sit in on one of the meetings that the URA discussed the specifics of the project breakout. Both city staff and the URA agreed that there are aspects such as, especially like earthwork and subterranean utility work, that the city is equipped to do, and that is in-kind work. For each of those line items in the not to exceed GMP1 project scope, the entries for the City of Mountain Home represent the in-kind work.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Workla.
Sure, I understand that, but that to me, what I read, that wasn't what was sold at that meeting when the URA presented that to us and we approved this project moving forward. So to see that on here, not to mention in-kind work, has no monetary value next to it. I mean, what, I can count how many, maybe there's 20 entries or something of in-kind work. And the other thing to keep in mind too is if they're doing so much in-kind work, that's going to pull from their main job of serving the city, right? So I don't know, those are just things to be mindful of. I never want to vote for anything unless I can actually see a monetary value to it.
Mayor.
Councilman Harjo.
I definitely hear what you're saying in terms of that. The other recent things to discuss about that aspect is most of this earthwork will be happening in the non-paving, non-construction time period over the winter time, when we've done similar work in those months. The city pool being a perfect example of that. The city did the in-kind work to complete that project and did a lot of the dirt work ourselves. This is similar in that sense. The attributable dollar amount, as you see them on the project scope there is no entry for those because that is not an expenditure from the perspective of the CMGC. So they don't have to go out. If you'll notice throughout the rest of the column that you would see City of Mountain Home on, that those subcontractors have already been chosen by the construction group for concrete work or power or what have you. That entry of City of Mountain Home represents that there is no expenditure from or billing necessary inward or outward from the construction group that bid and was awarded the contract for this.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Workla.
So if the total down here is 4.9 million, but then it was quoted that they will have 5.4 million in the bank to cover this at 100% in its entirety, why do we even have to do in-kind work?
because we're doing the in-kind, so it's not a cost. We could have somebody come do it. I'm sure that number would be a lot higher than the 4.9 if we had other entities come and do all that site work.
Mayor?
Go ahead.
So that's based off speculation, right? And so if I can't vote on this unless we have a URA representative here giving us an update, because these numbers were given to us a year and a half ago. And so I was hoping there would be a representative here to actually speak on this, to see if these numbers are still accurate.
These ones that were presented tonight?
The ones that were presented to us, what I read off April of last year, saying that in the life of the URA and we take on no other projects, we can fund that project in its entirety with the $5.4 million.
Actually, they'll probably be getting a lot more than that because of the marathon expansion that's going on out there.
No, Mayor,
Just go ahead.
I can't make decisions off of maybes.
Okay.
Mayor,
Go ahead, Councilman.
there's an operative statement in there that the URA will fund. Our contract with the CMGC for Railroad Park is between the city and the CMGC. The URA has agreed to fund this as the city being the pass-through. Our contract is with the contractor here. The URA is not interfacing with the contract in the sense of being the funder directly to them. The city becomes the pass-through in this instance.
Another, Mayor,
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
thank you for all your insight, but another thing that I do want to bring up too is the operation and maintenance after this does come to fruition. That company that you mentioned, they said in that meeting as well, it can cost $60,000 to $70,000 a year to maintain that. That burden's going to be also put on the taxpayer Mountain Home for now into the eternity. In addition to, is that considering, do we need to hire additional labor to oversee that project and all the monies that go towards hiring more personnel to see? I don't know. Again, these are all maybes to me. But I just want to make sure that in-kind work isn't truly in-kind work when you're taking city personnel who's getting paid by the tax dollar to do the work. No matter if it's summer or winter time, it's still pulling them away from their primary duties. I just struggle with this. Maybe if it was just a couple entries, but gosh, if I count on here, there's quite a bit of entries of in-kind work.
Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey.
Jenny, can I just kind of add to, there is a lot of in-kind work where it's manpower, of which, sure, if you're doing it in the winter and you've got several guys from Public Works sitting around and they could keep busy, that's great. But there's also quite a few entries in here, and this is where I have a personal problem. There are also quite a few entries in here with no dollar amount attached of which budget it's going to come out of for storm drain pipe, sod, fence, let's see, sidewalk prep, which is going to require dirt. It's going to require, I don't know, pardon me if I don't know the exact what sidewalk prep it's going to take, but bark, there's ground cover, there's rock. All of those things are going to cost money. And so when we're presented with this Railroad Park new budget, there's no dollar amounts assigned that the City of Mountain Home is going to be responsible for. And we are going to be responsible for this because we're right in here with alongside the budget. The other thing is that I talked to an individual on the URA today, and I have to say, for me, it was a little bit frustrating because there's a really big financial backer in the city that we're not, the council hasn't been aware of, but I'm sure Councilman Harjo's been aware of it because he's at everything, but, it's not sacred knowledge, but it's a really huge portion of this, $5 million that they want to come to the table with. And yet we're being asked to approve this $5 million, and we've got a potential financial backer that will come to the table with $2.8 million. So it's kind of a hard pill to swallow.
Mayor?
Go ahead, Tiff.
So legal is right now drafting an agreement with the $2.8 million donor.
So why are we rushing to approve this budget?
Because to get, Guho is hoping to be on site by the 15th. And so that is why we're trying to get this at least approved to get process moving, because we would like to have project done by Memorial Day of
But
2026.
so I guess my question is that the URA doesn't in its entirety have the money to fund this project. Okay? And the city also doesn't have the money in its entirety to fund this project. But yet tonight we're being asked to approve this project. And I'm sorry I'm looking at you because you know it all because you're the smartest one in the city of Mountain Home. And yet I find out today on the street that there's this humongous donor that could be fantastic in this project. But yet again, we sit here in the freaking dark. And it's really frustrating. And so, you know, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I want to know how much it's going to cost the city of Mountain Home if this donor doesn't materialize next month. I want to know how much it's going to cost the city of Mountain Home and out of whose budget it's going to come out of. How much the rock's going to cost, how much the bark's going to cost, how much the pipe's going to cost. Because yet again, we take out of all of our budgets and other things are going to yet suffer. Our roads, our sewer lagoons, everything else. And so I'm sorry, I can't approve this right now. There's no numbers attached to it.
Hey, Mayor.
Councilwoman Workla.
So I count, there's 61 entries of in-kind work.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey.
I apologize if this puts Guho behind, but I would like to see this tabled until we know for sure if this wonderful donor is going to come to the table and is going to happen. Because that would really change the dynamics of this project. And then we won't have to phase this project out either. It would be just done.
Go ahead, Tiff.
Clarification, you want it tabled with just the donor, or you want it tabled to know how much bark and rocks cost as well?
Everything. Yeah, I want to know how much it's going to cost the city of Mountain Home and what budgets it is going to come out of. Yes, everything. I want a comprehensive plan in front of us. Me personally, I don't know about you guys. Is that a motion?
Yeah, she motioned.
Second?
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion?
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
sorry I didn't get a chance to chat yet. Based on the rest of the conversation that's happened, it does bring the question in my mind of when the URA gets, for lack of better terms, annual payments from taxes, and this is a project that we hope to be done by May of next year, for almost $5 million. How is it that the city is planning to pay for that up front unless Guho is offering a payment plan?
Copy that.
Mayor?
Councilman Harjo.
The GMP1 budget in front of us is the entirety of the project without scoping references in it to the phasing. There are plenty of other documents from GUHO that specifically line out the phasing as applied to what the project would look like. Both the URA, the city, the architectural firm, in terms of like city staff working with them, have gone through the motions of putting all of this into one consumable document. This document itself comes from GUHO as the not to exceed value as it's required by state law for any project. This is, again, the expenditure as it would be seen from, or excuse me, like the billable amount from GUHO, the construction company, with all of its vendors as they've awarded bids to underneath that. That this is not representative of the entirety of the budget. This isn't representative of the city's expenditure. This document in front of us is our agreement with GUHO as a not to exceed value. There is a difference between what is being talked about and what this document represents. This is the total cost of the project from their perspective, because they're understanding that the city of Mountain Home is going to handle these other things like temporary barriers and exclosures. For instance, like putting up chain link temporary panels. The city of Mountain Home has some of those things from our projects. Why would we pay somebody to do that? Thusly, those were stricken from the expense from GUHO's perspective. So I think we're asking for two different things in a sense. Like if we're looking, if the desire of the council is to get a global view of all expenditure, that is different than what is in front of us today for GUHO's projected expense, or not to exceed expense, I should clarify.
Councilwoman Garvey.
With one caveat to that, Councilman Harjo, I don't disagree with some of what you just said, although I think that was a broad approach. Approve the general maximum price, fair, okay, which is where I will agree with you. Where I will disagree with you is it says authorize GUHO to proceed with the project. That means start shovel ready, start digging. Okay, so once that happens, we can't stop it. That means sign the documents. And I don't think we're there yet.
Mayor.
Councilman Hargrove.
So, anyway, we have a table, or we have a motion on the table.
From the perspective of that, I don't wholly disagree with you. The part of this being the total not to exceed value is at its face value. The phased approach of if that donor does not come through or the URA needs to extend their funding, in those documents, it is very clear that the phased approach is still available. GUHO knows that, the URA knows that, and city staff has known that. This is a total project from GUHO, not to exceed value.
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan.
Sorry, I didn't really get to finish that last part, but I appreciate the conversation that's happening, and now I'm fairly legitimately confused with the payment. I'd like to first start and say the in-kind work by the city does not bother me. It's been successful for many other projects that we've done, and I know our department heads will understand their individual responsibility and fit it within their budget. This phased approach possibility, if that's a possibility, we need to have that discussion. But what I heard city staff say is that the goal is to be done by May of 2026, which is the singular budget that we are working within. So, aside from pushing this answer down the road, can any of you tell me how we're going to make the I'm just going to call it the $5 million payment by May of 2026?
Go ahead, Tiff.
Councilman Brennan, the first phase of the Railroad Park project is at $2.8 million. I asked Guho because the large donor is we're probably 98% sure we could come to the table and agree, and I think the council would take in the donorship and agree to the agreements and the exclusivity that the donor wants on the facility. However, they proposed a rendering that was very drastic in the rendering that has been proposed to you all and the public. Therefore, we asked the design team to redo that before it came back before we could get it before the donor. So my goal with legal and the design team was to have the draft agreement to you this evening. Unfortunately, Paul didn't get it done and the design team didn't get it done, schedules don't align. Therefore, our intention this evening was to go for total max price. URA can afford and can fund the first phase of the 2.8. They have those funds available now today.
Okay.
We can just do phase 1. However, doing phase 1 we don't believe is what is in the best interest of the community, or doing just a phased approach isn't what's in the best interest of the community. We'd like to give a solid project complete by May of 2026. Like I said, we're pretty confident the donor at 98% is going to fund the project. They've been very open in the discussion with that. We just have to firm up the agreement. That's where we're at. I don't think Anthony's team is opposed to waiting till the 28th when it gets back on an agenda, and hopefully we have everything approved by all bodies. I think that's fine, but I think max price is the best way to go rather than a phased approach. And if you phase it, it adds additional costs to the GMP agreement, almost, what was that, like $500,000 it added, because they're gonna move in and move out potentially, and those are unknowns to Guho's company. So to save tax dollars, I said, give me a firm number, no joke, to do the entirety of the project. That's all I wanna know, because I'm pretty solid we can come up with the funds between URA and the donor. If that makes sense.
That's what I wanted to confirm. If we get the donor or the donation and the rest that's on the table, URA has in their checkbook today. So that would fund the entire project immediately.
Right.
Mayor.
Okay.
Council.
So then, you guys know, I want this project to happen. I think it would bring immense value to our citizens and our kids and all that. But I do think that a 2-week delay is appropriate based on everybody else that we're waiting for information.
Okay. So there's a motion and a second. Did you want to go? Or can I just?
Mayor.
Go ahead.
Councilman Brennan,
Yeah.
can you hear me? That's what I was just gonna say. I don't have a problem with the not phased approach, because let's just get the project done. We've been talking about it and it'd be nice to see it done. And so thank you, I agree. It's only 2 weeks, and 2 weeks is enough time hopefully to get a full, comprehensive, hopefully all of our answers. So yeah, that's my motion. That is just the 2 weeks.
I was going to ask, the motion was just a 2-week delay. Is that right? What we're voting on?
Councilman Brennan, well, I'm hoping 2 weeks is enough. I don't know. I'm not the one pulling the reins here, so.
My reins are very tight half the time, so that's the one.
So, really quick, everybody, the motion was to
Table it
table it,
until
your numbers.
we get numbers on the costs that actually the city of Mountain Home, the in-kind work that the guys can do, fine, yeah, that does not bother me either. I don't have a problem with that. It's the things, the fencing, I understand, yeah, you've got fencing set aside, why buy it? Perfectly fine with that. But the rock, the bark, I'm a planner, I know bark's gonna go bad in a couple of years. So we're gonna have to replace that in a couple of years. That's going to be an expense to our city. It's going to be a continual expense to our city. I wanna know initially how much that's gonna cost. How many square feet are we gonna have to put out? The rock, those types of things. And when we're talking about prep work for a sidewalk, how much prep work? What dirt are you going to have to bring in? What rock are you going to have to bring in? Or what is it called? Slurry or whatever it's called. You get the gist of what I'm saying. That's what I want to know. How much it's going to cost the city and what budget is that coming out of? And then also, are we going to get this donor? Because if we get this donor, then that's huge. Because if we don't, then we're back to square one, and why would we approve a maximum budget?
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wickla?
I
Okay. And then, what we had, what was the other one? Oh, number 11. Councilwoman Wickla, 11.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. You might want to come up. I think you're here today because we had some questions. At least I had questions, right? Is that what happened? Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Happy to come. Happy to come.
Okay. So this is again from my perspective. If there's again an outside perspective, I wasn't informed of it, or I may be loosely informed of it. So we had our budget session in July of this year, and when we had that budget session, I'm kind of thank Councilwoman Garvey here. She was able to find, I thought it was about 6 million. I think she found 8, you said 8 million or something. What it was is we were planning on a grant that was hopefully going to go through in August and pay for Lagoon Cell 10. If that fell through, because this was July, we didn't know if it was going to go through or not. If that fell through, we had a contingency where we were going to put the 6 to 8 million in reserves to fund that lagoon. And that's the last that I heard of it. Then I see this agenda talking about a mechanical wastewater treatment plant.
What happened?
Yeah, exactly. And so then that's where I'm like, wow, okay, so I thought we were just gonna, we as our main job is to budget, right? So we tucked that money away and I thought we're going on with that. And then when I see this on here and there's no monies tied to it, as you heard from a previous conversation, I'm concerned. Because the other thing too, it's directing us to pay you, the company, Keller and Associates, I think what, $48,000 to go forward with this, right? In addition to, we've already paid, I think about $175,000 towards Keller to do the design work for the Lagoon Cell 10. Not to mention we've paid about $600,000 to Keller and Associates just in general since last July. That's a lot of money, right? I mean, I know engineering work's expensive, I understand that, but it's a lot of money because are we going 500 different directions? Like I thought we were on one path and now we're on another. So for me to say let's fund this $48,000 to go forward to find this potential design for this mechanical treatment plant, again, it's hard for me to say yes.
Yeah, let me maybe be helpful to give a little bit of background. And yes, you have been going in all the right direction. There hasn't been sunk cost going one way or the other. Everything's been going in the right and favorable direction. 2 years ago, when we completed the previous planning study, the council at that time decided to move forward with the status quo, which was the lagoon. If you look at a 20-year plus window, the total expenditures at that time were, in today's dollars, are estimated to be around $75 million. By the time you look at the likelihood of a lot of the liners failing over the next 20 years and having to get replaced, and just the age of this infrastructure and keeping down that path. The mechanical plant was quite a bit more. And so the decision was, let's move forward with this, let's move, and to be able to be better positioned, to be able to have grant opportunities, the city wanted a shovel-ready project, which is the lagoons. So that's why you move forward with those and have that option. Even in the event that you later switch to mechanical plant, having a lagoon is going to be an asset that's going to be valuable to the city. You, instead of being a pond that's holding water before it goes to land application, it could be a pond that holds water, clean water, that's going to go back onto parks and golf courses and potentially reused. So it can be a great asset to the city long term. The question is why we look at the mechanical plant. It was more expensive. You know, now what's the decision now? I think really it's and for Eric's credit, let's not look at 20 years, but about 50 years. what does it look like for the city of Mountain Home? You have the largest lagoon system in the state of Idaho. You know, as land prices go up, it takes a lot of land, both for land application, for storage, and it also comes with certain restrictions or constraints. A lagoon can't accommodate a large industry, and where the city has been pretty proactive in wooing industry and looking for things, commonly the question is, what can you take my wastewater? And the challenge with lagoons is there's not a lot of buttons or knobs you can twist for treatment. And so, in the previous plan, we looked at this, I'd say like a 50,000 foot flyover, right? And with the purpose of this study would be to take it down to 10,000 feet and look at it more in a phased approach. Like the bite off the mechanical plant is over $100 million if you wanted just to jump right into it. Is there a way to phase that could make it more palatable, especially if you have an industry that might be going for commercial? And so that's the idea behind the study, is like, let's pick up an increment, like 1 million gallons per day, that will allow you to get into the mechanical industry, and then also define a lot more detail what that would entail. So in this case, it's going to be like additional meetings with DEQ to understand like what's involved with rapid infiltration, what's the permitting process going to be, what's going to take, so that you have more definitive numbers, so that when the next industry comes in, you can say, hey, we're happy to accommodate this, but this is our first step, and this is what it's going to cost, and are you willing to come to the table?
So one thing that I'm learning is that these definitive numbers change, right? And so, like, we have you go out with this, pay $48,000 to do this design project, and then, you know, a year later, you're like, oh no, the numbers have gone up. It's more now, right? And so it's constantly going up. And I hear you. I feel like the solution is what you're saying, but from at least my perspective, I sure get a lot of emails and phone calls from people saying, why did you raise my utility bill at 5%? I can't pay it, right? So then we have to manage the cost of the current lagoons, potentially, you know, a new lagoon, while you're building the treatment plant, right? So my question is what is all that cost going to incur? And then when I asked that to Chris today, he was just like, well, that's what this going out for this $48,000 design project going to tell us.
It really is more of a planning project, is to give you the tools to make more informed decisions. So that's really what the outcome of this is going to be. You're going to have better definition of like, this is, so it might be after this is done, you look at this cost and you say, I don't want to spend $10 million on a lagoon. I want to put that money towards a mechanical plant. And you will have saved that expense before it got incurred. Or it might be that I need to proceed with this lagoon expansion, and then I'm going to spend the next 5 years or 10 years accumulating connection fees, and at some point when the right industry that comes into town is going to come help fork the bill, you'll know like this is what it's going to be. Cost will change. That's not only. I mean, I wish I had a crystal ball that say exactly what it would be, but the goal, the hope is you'll have a better definition for what a lot of the things are unknown. There's a lot of contingency. As you go from 50,000 feet to 10,000 feet, you're saying instead of I think this is what's going to be required, you're saying I've met with DEQ. This is what they're saying could be required in this project.
So I guess my other question is, like, I like the latter comment that you said about let's go with the lagoon and then tuck, because I asked how long a lagoon could last, the cell 10, and you said 10 years, right? So if we went up with that lagoon and then we went on through it with the plan of tucking the funds away for 10 years towards the mechanical treatment plant, so we can fund that in, like you said, phases or however. My biggest fear is just having like a big drastic increase in a utility bill.
And I totally get it. And I mean, that's your decision. You can choose to do that. This planning effort isn't committing that. It's really, it's giving you a more informed decision as far as what that would take. And because right now we're saying we think it's, I don't know, like 130 to 150 million to make the full jump. What we can't tell you right now is what it would take to take the first stab. And I'm thinking it's going to be about 50, but that's like my shooting from the hip. So if you have an industry that comes in here and you want to start talking to them and they want to come to the table, it's like, do you want to go to them with a shoot from the hip, or do you want to go to them with, hey, we have a study, this is what it takes. This is a potential way that we could work together. So it's really your decision. I mean, we're happy to do what you want, but this is just going to give you more tools in your toolbox to be able to make those types of decisions.
One more thing.
Yeah.
I think you guys are supposed to come back with part 2 of the declining balance tool for our EDUs. Is that coming?
That is coming.
Okay.
Mayor.
Want to give an update on that?
Yeah, we are working on the water side of that, and we should have an update in the next month or so.
Okay.
Did want to just add to what James said, like, we are kind of on a parallel path with interviewing and the mechanical plant, but it's really leaving you with a lot of flexibility. So should an industry come in, like James said, maybe we can switch gears and go down that way, or if we get a big grant for the lagoons, proceed
If you
with
don't
that.
got it, they like to do a lot of in-kind work. We'll come up with a plan that they can construct it themselves.
Councilman Harjo.
James and Jordan, back in January when you guys met with us about the declining balance tool. In that presentation, you guys have a slide in here that discusses the 20-year life cycle cost at that juncture of the kind of like, well, we know what the general direction for these two cones of uncertainty point at. The status quo being lagoons at a 20-year life cycle cost of projected $80 million today. A mechanical wastewater treatment plant in that 140 to 155 million at the 20-year cost from inception through from concept through inception, and then having a life cycle of 20 years. I'm happy to hear that this is focused at the giving us the equal in detail aspects of what we can decide on the future. This today, to confirm, is not a decision that we're going one direction or the other, more so that this is the key data that will allow us to make a choice here in the coming months or coming years. Is that correct?
Absolutely, it's going to give you more definition what that, not just the old long-term plan, because I think the master plan still is pretty legit for what that's going to look like. What it doesn't have is that first phase, what that could look like. So if you want to implement it, because that's going to be a big hurdle for a mechanical plant.
Sure.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey.
Okay, I have several questions. Let me get back to the right agenda here. Okay, so I'll start with your proposed scope of work. A lot, well, maybe it's not vague in your guys' opinion, maybe it's vague just strictly in my opinion, but a lot of the scope of work has the parentheses of if there's additional, basically,
These openers.
yeah, yeah. It just seems like we're gonna do A, B, and C, and then D, E, and F are gonna. So what?
Yeah, we tried to put in everything we think is going to be in there, but you just never know if DQ is going to say, hey, you need to do this or that before we can get. So, I mean, we tried to be conservative when we worked with the city in scoping this. That we had some optional tasks that we moved into base tasks because we wanted to. And if you look at our history, we don't really nickel and dime. If there's little things here and there, we're just going to eat it. That's the way we are. We're going to provide.
I don't know. We pay you guys lots and lots of money, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I mean,
apparently we need to look closer
yeah,
into the bills here. I don't know,
We don't
but
do a lot of amendments.
it's a lot.
Yeah, we don't, like I said, we try to be pretty thorough in our scoping, and and provide you a quality product every day. So you're not
Okay, so from this particular plant phase concept, you're hoping to come to the table with how much it's going to cost to do a phased out mechanical treatment plant. Period. Just that.
It's going to be a 1 million gallon treatment facility
With-
and disposal. And disposal is probably one of the
Sure.
bigger items that was sort of unknown. Looking at rapid infiltration. is
And
something-
you're going to be able to, in that phase, you're going to be able to identify where it's going to go.
That's the goal, of going to identify likely location.
Location.
What would be required to accommodate that.
Okay, so you kind of already have that obviously in mind, hopefully.
Where we would start with is your existing land application site.
Okay.
So we'd be working with DEQ to look at things like what would be the requirements, like it's going to be like sand infiltration, and then look at the proximity of the neighboring wells, and what kind of requirements are they going to require,
Mhm.
or DEQ are going to require to accommodate those, to mitigate those risks. So it's-
Okay, so you're going to come with us with this project. You'll have the site location, the phased out, how much it's going to cost, most likely where our product is going to go.
Yes.
Okay. I had one other question where I was going with that.
These are good questions.
Sorry, bear with me here. And then it's just for that type of plant. It's not, we're deviating off of cell number 10, and we're deviating off of the giant,
Yeah, think of.
like
it's-
what Jerome did. We're
looking at like
deviating off of that type of
It's
plant.
going to be a mechanical plant.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's.
And you feel strongly, Keller and Associates feels strongly that that is what Mountain Home could benefit from for the next 20 to 30 years.
I think it's a great idea to explore. I like the lagoons too, but I do recognize that cities has a lot of interest.
Okay, all right. So
Industry.
hold on. Now let's
Yeah.
start talking here. You like the lagoons.
I mean, I like the low life cycle cost of
Mhm.
lagoons.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right.
but
So we're not so bad off then.
It's hard to say what 20 years is going to.
Okay. But we're not talking 20 years. 20 years from now, a lot can happen. We could have this crazy amount of growth because Boise will become Mountain Home. But right now, in the next 10 years, say, 8 to 10, the lagoons are doing okay. If we added cell number 10, we're okay.
You can continue down that course, and it's going to cost less than a mechanical plant over the next 20 years. I can
Good
say
to
that
know.
pretty confidently. But that's not to say that within 20 years you're going to wish you'd gone to mechanical plant.
No, but with that being said, we can at least right now take this aside, think about it, digest it,
You can totally,
and then we can start planning.
if you want to table this a little bit, you can. We're not
We
trying
can
to
start
rush
planning,
this or say
yes.
you have to do it. It is
It's
something-
just so much money that we've spent.
But it is something, I mean, you are looking at moving forward $10 million-ish on the lagoon, so that's a pretty big price tag.
Yes, I understand.
Once you make that commitment, you're kind of like, you've made a big
Yes.
chunk, right? And then it's likely in the next few years, you're gonna be doing leak tests, and based on what I've seen on some of the ponds.
Yep.
I
Yep.
wouldn't be surprised if some of them fail.
Yep.
And then you're gonna be looking at
Yes.
another big ticket items, and then you're gonna be, that's
I'm
where
not
saying-
talking years down the road. I'm asking you questions.
Yeah, no, I'm just
I'm
saying that-
dissecting your brain because I don't get
Yep,
to talk to you.
yep, But you look at, I might be making a $10 million expense
Mhm.
within the next year, and I might be making other $5-10 million expenses.
But a couple weeks
in the
from
next
now, we can
5
we can.
years,
Mhm.
You're gonna say, did I make the right decision?
Yep.
And that's why, if you're gonna do this, this is the time to do it. Take a look at it now and say,
Okay.
do we wanna go that route?
Okay.
Before we make pull all these triggers.
Couple more
And
questions for you.
just think that applies.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you for that answer. So 2 years ago, I was on council, And by the way, I was not for just sitting status quo. We just didn't quite have a direction. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Okay, so question. So, when industry wants to come in here, okay, I'm all about economic development. So when industry wants to come in here, and is there not a reason that they couldn't pay for this feasibility study? I mean, is that have you had that come down the pike before?
I mean, it could be. A lot of industries are more interested in investing once they know that.
Sure, and that's fair. I'm just asking the question. Okay, so my last one of my last questions, I'm sure. So the other studies that you've done for us, which you've done several, because you came to us with the 3 different options, of which I think at the time we went status quo with cell number 10. Of those studies, none of those were in-depth enough for you to dissect that information and try and make this feasibility study and piecemeal and make this study a little bit cheaper?
I mean, that's why this is under 50,000.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, if this were a whole new industry,
Okay.
different places, like
Yeah,
we did.
I just thought I'd ask.
We did just kind of a rapid infiltration, facility planning evaluation for the Eagle area, and it was probably 80,000. That was probably 5 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, I think you're realizing some benefits from having previous work completed.
That's it for now. Thank you.
Council, one more question.
Thank you.
Yeah, so maybe if council's up for this, maybe we can table this, because I also want to talk to the economic developer, because I can tell he's been very busy doing his job, talking to a lot of people, and I just want to see if that's something that has come in the conversation, saying, hey, you know, if you have this potential mechanical treatment plant coming down the line, we would bring in industry. You're right. I don't even know if that's even the, you know, the reason why, right? So if we can have the economic developer maybe come in and brief us too on maybe some conversations he's had within the community and or industry potentially coming in. So if we could table that and then get a brief from him and then maybe have a better understanding if we can stay with the lagoons and save money or go this route.
So I think this isn't committing you to go about, but you are spending the money to have a more informed decision.
Right.
That's what
And we've already, and like I said before, we've already spent a significant amount for cell 10, right? I just want to be very cognizant of how we're spending the people's money.
Mayor.
Councilman Harjo?
James Jordan, I appreciate all the work that you guys and your team have put into these things. There's some factors of the time that gets put in to put together the deliverables out of task order like this, right? And it's not one size fits all. While you can obviously benefit from recent projects, rapid infiltration and Eagle and those kind of references, I think we as the council can also keep in mind that there are unique scenarios that within our borders and our utility that aren't going to be known to DEQ or Keller that will affect what the scoping is, what our availability for certain aspects of the varying types of mechanical plants, and this task order here helps us iron out what those variables are so we can put the value and dollar amount to choice A versus choice B. Again, with the previous presentations, and I mean, and going back, I think as far as the declining balance or facilities planning study, I forget which, it was roughly 2015. The mechanical plant was mentioned that far back. Here we are a decade later, and we're talking about adding a potential cell 10 for an additional 3,200 EDUs. In the hypothetical of a mechanical plant at 1 million gallons a day, how many EDUs does that offer us?
Putting you on the spot here. I mean, you have.
Sorry.
Well, my calculator. I mean, you have your max day flow right now is about 3. MGD, but for max day, your average is more like 1.8. Yeah.
1.4 right now because we've done some of
The I corrections. Yeah, so I mean, it's, think about like half the city of Mount Hope.
Mhm.
So 1 million gallons. If you're at 1.4 now, this first phase would be like half the city.
Sure. And for instance, like when we toured CUNA and their wastewater mechanical plant, that was representative of about half of CUNA as well.
Yes.
So again, like a facility may not encompass the entirety. However,
Yeah, and there's an example of how phasing could occur here too.
Sure.
They have their flow split and some
right, their flow was split. There was some design scoping early on to allow for expansion in those runs at a future date. Yeah.
Lagoons for many years. I think they've been very those lagoons since.
Yeah, and those, Chris, I don't remember if you were at that one or not. Association of Idaho Cities, Keller presented specifically about the STAR Sewer and Water Districts project in wastewater in that sense, and their need and conversion from lagoon cells over to mechanical, and what their plan of action was. Could you maybe shortly summarize what that looked like for them, for the rest of the council, to show like what their need was, why they went to mechanical, the timeline?
For STAR, STAR and Stanford, similar. Rapid growth was hard to keep up with the ponds, and then tighter restrictions in terms of permitting for STAR. For example, they had a discharge, and so they had filtration after their lagoons, but it started to be discharge requirements, and they also land constraints. So in the case of STAR, they used what limited land they had, and they put on a mechanical plant to handle all the excess growth. They started splitting flow that way, and then they ran through both plants, the lagoon and then the mechanical plant for many years. And they used the connection fees from growth, they fund the next expansion, and so forth, until eventually they got large enough that they could displace, remove the lagoon portion. In the case of CUNA, they still split the flows, and that plant does provide a lot of, almost all the growth that occurs can be directed to that facility, and it's can be expandable easily for, again, on a limited footprint. Those mechanical plants, where your lagoons take up 200 acres and your land application is 300 plus, mechanical plant, you could put all that on less than 5 acres, and your rapid infiltration might be another 10. So it's, and that's, again, so it's not, might not be really urgent, but someday you'll look at it and say, that's the direction that I probably need to go. It's just whether or not you pull that trigger sooner or later, and part of that might be opportunity driven.
Sure. And on the concept of opportunity, for us as a council or any future iteration of council to make a decision like that, to be educated to the fullest extent, which a task order like this takes us that next step. In your experience with rapid growth, whether that's residential, commercial, industrial, the mix, and I recognize that some of this might not necessarily be like Keller's specialty, but have you guys have any experience in the tools available by state law, the business improvement districts, local improvement districts, urban renewal, to fund a large-scale project for public infrastructure that way?
Yeah, we've done a number of LIDs. Of course, there's the traditional funding mechanisms through your own general obligation of revenue bonds, and that can be used to fund some of those. But North Lake as an example. More than a dozen LIDs were developed to come fund some of those things, including Tamarack Resort, which is why we do LID. Kuna, their whole facility treatment plant was funded by a raw land LID, which was a little unique at the time. So I mean, there's definitely some things that can go into that where you're taking that tax burden, putting it on the people that might benefit from it in terms of growth, and having them help fund some of those separate from your user base.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, council. Sorry, councilwoman, you had something? Okay. What do you guys want to do?
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
I'd just like to say that I'm not going to be supporting the lagoon systems any further. I've been an advocate for the mechanical plant for a long time, and some of the comments that James made, I think there's a very likely possibility if we went down that road further that we'll come to regret it. Not simply because of a $10 million expansion, but because of all the potential failures and relinings and all that are multiple millions of dollars each as well. I personally don't think we have much of a choice with where we're at. I'm going to make a motion to approve task order number 33 for mechanical wastewater treatment plant phase 1 concept.
Second?
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
All right.
Councilwoman Workla?
Nay.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna run down. We're gonna run down to. Hey James, really quick, while I have you here. So Tiff and I sat in a group of mayors and county commissioners a couple weeks ago. They talked about mitigation fee that Star has. So they use it to fund certain. It's kind of like an impact fee, but not. They call it a mitigation fee. And then we talked about Nampa. We talked to Nampa about Debbie Kling, Mayor Kling, about hers. So when you and I had a conversation about our $4,800 connection fee, and we've had that conversation, you said, that seems, it was pretty high. And maybe you didn't say high. You said it was, because, so Nampa does an impact fee, and then they do a connection fee, and that don't even equal to what the City of Mountain Home charges for our connection fee. So where do you think, like, can I do a mitigation fee, not an impact fee, but a mitigation fee for the new growth, or is that considered an impact fee?
I would have to look into that. I know like Nampa probably plays new territory in the state for calling out the impact fee.
Correct.
So, I mean, and just a little bit of background, and I don't think your 4,200 is out of whack.
48.
4,800 is not out of whack. Especially if you look at, you go look at like North Lake, or you look at some places with mechanical plants, and they can often be much higher. But the connection fee is based on recent case law. It's for reimbursement of expenses you've already incurred. So you look at the actual cost, replacement cost. They let you look at. It doesn't dictate that it has to be depreciated. So I think there's a lot of wiggle room in there. So for how you can interpret that, and you divide it by the capacity to come up with your connection fee, and that's that. The impact fee is forward looking. It's like what are the expansion costs, and can I also recoup some of those? And that is something that if you wanted to pursue, I'd recommend we bring in somebody like FCS. They are a financial consultant that navigated that with the city of Nampa, and I think they're helping the city of Pocatello. They're an expert in that arena.
Okay. The reason I asked that question is we use availability. That's what ours is called. And so we use it for growth or for future expansion, to say, for a sewer lagoon 10, The only reason I'm asking these questions is because you're the subject matter expert, and these are things I want to know. And then I want to talk to Schroeder about that in the future as well, because if I could do a mitigation fee or some other fee that dictates that growth is paying for us without us getting in trouble for having an availability fee and an impact fee, You know what I mean? Because right now, ours is just one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one fee. I think you could, I think if you redid your connection fee today
Mm-hmm.
and looked at replacement values, I would appreciate it. I think you could justify what you have today. And I think you could, I'm guessing, I'm basing, but you'd have to look at that. You really haven't scrutinized your connection fees for about 20 years. It was, study was done early 2000s, and since then it's been mostly just updated, like the consumer price index type of adjustments, other than I think maybe in 2010 or 11 when we did the planning update around that. But you could also look at that impact fee for that other component, and then they wouldn't, as long as you look at one is, this is the buy-in and the other is impact, navigating that, I think you really would want to bring in somebody that's done that, and that like FCS.
Go ahead, Schroeder.
So what that chart, yes, is exactly right. It turns on a financial scrutiny of what the existing plant is, what it costs, what its depreciated value is what you're buying in versus what you're going to accumulate for future expansion. And that requires experts in those costs. And then we can legally put it together because you can call something something, and if it legally counts as something else, it doesn't matter what you call it. Courts are going to say that's, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck,
Correct.
talks like a duck, it's an impact fee.
Yeah,
Right.
And I would say that you can take connection fees and apply them to growth.
Correct.
It's just that it's got to be, the value has to be based on
Right.
the reimbursement. And so, and we can help navigate that, but the other part is new enough. I've see we want to bring in somebody that's like FCS, who's done that, kind of lays that territory. And I'm sure Tom Point would be happy to give us a minute or two as the public works director, because I know that he's pretty proud of navigating that as well. I mean, he's very much into the details.
Okay.
But we could totally support that effort too. When they did it with Nampa, we helped provide information on growth-related costs that inform the model that they use for the impact fee.
And sorry, council, the only reason I'm asking, because they're right here right now. I wasn't going to wait till final comments, but thank you.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, it's probably in your scope of work. How long do you think this report will take? Before January?
That'd be after January, November, December.
Before January?
We can-
I would like
we
to
can
see
give
this
you an
report.
update.
I'll be at this meeting. I want to see, I'm done.
Send you a personal copy.
I'm done in a couple months. I'll give you my personal email. I just want to see this report. So, since I voted aye, so I just want to see this detailed report,
Happy to give that.
hot off the press. I'll have to public records request it in February. I might not get it. Oh,
You got to ask the right
I might
question.
get a Schroeder return. This record doesn't exist.
So, thanks, guys. I appreciate you making the trek out tonight, and I know your time's valuable as well. So, thank you for making it out here.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Really appreciate working with you.
We're going to run down to action item number 2, deliberation decision on Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation of findings of facts for annexation conditions. Council,
Mayor.
Councilwoman Workla.
A citizen asked this question, I couldn't answer it, so I just want clarification here on record. So what is the status of Smith's Road sewer line and who pays for it? Jeff, if you want to speak on it, because you gave me some insight on that. The developer. Okay, thank you.
Council, what do you want to do with item number
Mayor?
2? Councilman Harjo.
I'll make a motion to approve new business action item number 2, deliberation decision, planning and zoning's recommendation and findings of fact for annexation with conditions.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey.
I will second that, but it's action item number.
Well, it's supposed to be 1, but I had to move 1 as
Oh, my
the...
apologies. I second that.
There's been a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilwoman Harjo?
Aye.
Run down to new business number 3, action item deliberation decision of Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation of findings of facts to zone R4 with PUD entitled Blue Yonder West with conditions. Council?
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
just a quick comment here. In all the documents were provided, I could be wrong, but I think it's the first time I've seen that the city has reached out to an engineering firm, Keller, that was just talking to us, where they know our water system very well, and they were able to put in recommendations for approval of this development. And I was really excited to see that, and those recommendations were put into like the findings of facts and whatnot. Anyways, I'm glad to see that. I hope we can continue that to make sure that when we approve these developments, that we get that professional insight. So I'm all for it.
Copy that.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey?
Mr. Curtis, is it action item to the zone, or is it the preliminary plat where I need to add in with Keller's second report, or Brenda? What we talked about earlier.
It would be with, excuse me, Mayor.
Go ahead.
That would be with the plan unit development.
Okay, thank you.
Which will also then tie to the preliminary.
Okay,
plat.
great. I wrote a note, and I was like, I can't remember which one it was. Okay, great, thank you.
So, Council, what do you want to do?
Mayor.
Councilman Harjo.
Firstly, I'd like to echo Councilman Brennan. Section 12 is a very welcome addition. I'm very happy to see that as well. I will make a motion to approve Planning and Zoning's recommendation and findings of fact to zone R4 with PUD entitled Blue Yonder West with conditions.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Workala?
I'm thinking, hang on.
Okay. Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Sorry,
You're good.
something just came in. Okay. Aye.
All right. We'll run down to action item number 4, action item deliberation decision on Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation on findings of facts, preliminary plat Blue Yonder West with conditions. Council?
Okay, I will go ahead and make the motion to approve the deliberation decision on Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation of finding of facts of preliminary plat Blue Yonder West with conditions, with the addition of Keller's new report that should be here in the next couple days, with the addition of, or removal of where they should put a manhole. Sorry, that
Second.
didn't sound great.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing Councilman Brennan?
I have one question. Is there a representative there from this development?
Yep.
Can I have them come forward and ask your question?
Come on down. Alrighty, ask away.
Hey, I'm just curious as to the legal status of the road that has plagued us for a long time, which is Autumn Road. Has the developer attempted to get any legal status or access to that? If I understand it right, it's just an easement for property owners, and it's not actually a road. Can I get their take on that land that butts right up against their requested development?
Councilman Brennan, this is Mr. Schroeder, the city's legal counsel. I addressed this. I don't think it involves the developer as much. I've had to answer this question many times. So, yes, you're absolutely correct. That is a private easement for the service of all the adjoining property owners to the west of Autumn Road. It lies over their properties, and it is part of a deed for those properties. It serves only those property owners. It is not open, I mean, it's open to the public to drive, as in it's not gated, but it's not any district property. it is a private easement for those property owners.
So basically each, I'll just call it each 100 feet that you drive down our property line length, that is actually that section is part of, to the west
Yes.
land. So there's no road, there's simply an easement from one person's parcel to the next parcel to the next parcel.
Yes, Councilman Brennan. I don't have it pulled up here tonight, but I had the deed up when we had the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting about this, and then walked the applicant and everyone through it, how the deed reads and how it serves. But that road lies over those parcels. Those parcels abut on their eastern, each of those parcels abut the city limits on the eastern side. The road center line is 20 feet to the west of the city limits in that section line, and it's 40 feet in width, so 40 feet in width wholly upon those private parcels. So when you read that legal description, you have to start somewhere, you go 20 feet to the left, and then 20 feet on either side of that center line, running north and south, is an easement for access to each of those parcels that lie to the west of that easement.
Okay, so the center line and the 20 feet to the right of the center line towards the Blue Yonder development, even 20 feet to the right of that center line is still owned by the individual landowners to the west.
Well, it's an easement that those landowners have granted. So it's not owned in fee simple, it's not a platted street like we have in the city. It is an easement for a roadway for each of them to use to get to their property.
Okay.
It's not, it doesn't exist for the purpose of someone transiting from Air Base Road to Smith Road, although people do it all the time. But no one, in fact, the subdivision we approved a couple of years ago was required to put bollards in there, and this subdivision has no connection. There's stub outs in case something happens to it, but no person is permitted or allowed to drive out of that subdivision onto that private road.
Right, perfect. Sorry for addressing that to the wrong person.
No, that's okay.
Mayor,
Yeah.
Councilman.
can we get a map pulled up?
If
I have a map here, but I need,
If you have a whiteboard, I could draw it.
this is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, that isn't gonna help. Now, that's close.
Councilman Harjo has it.
I can,
I'm gonna say, I have it
I can
up
screen
too,
share it
if
up.
you wanna,
Give me just a sec, sorry.
Tasking is the screen share guy. It's one less thing.
Well, no, I got it for me. Well, that's never know.
Our,
Get your marker, since you're the.
YouTube video. Do we have a whiteboard? It's so easy to draw.
I can make.
I
You
was
can make
gonna
that a
say,
whiteboard.
And there's only,
Let's do that.
from what I can see, there's only one stub out that would even affect this road,
sorry.
or even be close to it, if I'm looking at this correctly.
There you go.
Here we go.
Pick your color. What do you want? Yellow? There you go. Paintbrush?
White.
Pencil.
Oh my goodness, are we kidding me right now? This is gonna come from a legal document too. In our packet.
Don't throw it away. Right, John Matthews? Oh, he can't see it. This is for.
Send him a picture.
I was just gonna say, I'll send him a picture. FaceTime him. Yeah. He's hunting. He's like, probably like, I'm not FaceTiming. Yeah, please.
North, south.
Just exhibit
Yep.
me.
Yeah. We don't have- There you go. of parcels is inaccurate. But you can see, this is in the city, this is not. These are private parcels. And then the deed to this whole parcel lists this subdivision, lists this roadway as serving each of these parcels. So their legal description, Jim Jones, 3422 Autumn Road, whatever, RP blah, 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 is gonna say it's a parcel of land that's 150 feet by 500 feet, save and except for a 40-foot wide road that, by the way, lets you get to your place. And the purpose of this road is for all these people to go this way and this way, and it isn't for anybody to go into there. None of the developers who have had these things approved have requested or asked for. The first time this came up, we had these folks at City Hall, and they're in two camps. Leave our road alone, we like it just the way it is, and the other camp is please take our road and fix it. And it's not ours. And no one, you would have to get their permission. The developer would have to get their permission in order to use it as an ingress or egress for many of these developments. They've not done so.
All right.
Alrighty, let's vote.
All right, and I think there was a motion, right, Councilwoman? Okay, so there's been a motion and a second, right? I know there's a motion. Was there a second?
I think I seconded.
Okay, it's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
All right. Any final comments, council?
Mayor,
Councilman Harjo?
Thank you.
I'd like to address a comment that was made in a public forum related to the upcoming election that alleged that a current city council person or their spouse were involved in writing or contacting of some nature, whether that was by text or an app, I'm unfamiliar because it wasn't expressly stated, but that some level of response or contact there was of an inappropriate nature. I wanted to say for the record that was not myself nor my spouse, and wanted to make sure that that was noted here.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Workla?
Okay, so our last meeting that we had, we tabled the civic group service agreements. Okay, so that didn't make it on the agenda, so.
No, ma'am, they'll come before you.
At the next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, no worries, I just,
Catching the language was kind of tough, and there were other things that tough.
okay. And Mayor,
Mm-hmm.
Mr., is it Warner? Warner?
Mm-hmm.
When you contact him,
Mhm.
are you guys able to then email council the results of that or of what happened?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. And then one last thing, I just want to make sure you guys understand why I voted no on that 11. Because I said I wanted to talk to an economic developer, right? So I just wanted to make sure, I don't think this is a bad idea. I'm just worried about the funding. So I just wish we could have tabled it maybe 2 more weeks into the next meeting so I can get a perspective from the guy that we hired for the position to see if that's really what's deterring industry from coming here. So I I wish it could have just been tabled, but I got outvoted on that. That's okay. Okay, that's all I had.
All right. Homecoming was great. The kids won. That was awesome. Yeah. So shout out to the football team if they're watching. Probably not, but if they are, congratulations to the homecoming. And then what do we got cooking? We got Spooktacular coming up, don't we? Tiffany, when's that one? 24. So all the goose and goblins and all that good stuff, come on downtown Mountain Home for the trunk or treat Spooktacular. We'd love to see everybody down there. Anything else good for the order? All right,
Mayor,
Councilman Harjo?
can we get a brief explanation of the fire department's memo to us? We're 14 days into the new fiscal year, and receive a memo from fire stating that they've overdrawn the capital outlay line by $690. There is seemingly enough left in another budget line to cover the difference without significantly impacting the overall budget. Could we just get a brief synopsis of what that expenditure was related to?
Absolutely. Tiff, did Chief Moore bring that to you?
He did. I think it's actually out of last year's budget.
What was it?
It said, Mayor,
Go ahead.
it said that it's shipping,
It's due.
higher than expected shipping charges.
You know, Councilman, I'll get you a better explanation tomorrow
Yeah,
morning.
no, that's just fine. I'm just curious what that item was that put that one over.
It's the Sea West. I think it's the Sea Western, which those are the Sea Marines, their squad truck, and
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
fiscal year
Out of 24, 25. Okay, the memo didn't exactly state
Yeah,
that,
that
so
doesn't-
I think
yeah.
that's where
Yeah, you're
my
scaring me there.
confusion came from. Yeah, because I was like,
That line should not be overdrawn by October 14th.
sure.
All
Okay,
right.
thank you.
You're welcome. Meeting adjourned.
Hey Tiffany, here's that document that I wanted to show you.
Yeah, have a good night. Best of luck.
Go get the big one.
Take a nap, remember. Make sure you take a nap.